We're live on Instagram. We're live on
YouTube,
YouTube and
and
Facebook.
Facebook.
It's weird though because our computer's here, which is where we're looking, but our Instagram is here and our camera is there. So we're just kind of like triading this angle all over the place.
Triad, and I like that angle a lot better. This one makes me look gigantic.
Yeah, that's because that one washes out your belly with the background.
Oh, my face too.
You bumping into me, Rachel? What you doing up there? Anyways, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing dandy. We are
Hey from Canada.
Canada. Robert looks tired. I am tired, man. It's been a
Yeah.
doozy of a day, and it's not even done yet. That's kind of crazy because, like,
Doozy of a day.
by the time we jump on these lives, like, I didn't even work out today. I was supposed to do legs today, but I'm gonna do legs tomorrow because I just wanted to get caught up today, and I'm still not caught up. So it ain't easy being green. All right, so let's dive into the initial topic, which is how to increase weight, like in your training load, increase your volume, increase your resistance while training. Actually, I get this question a lot. Actually, I got a question the other day about why don't you just do more content around training? I don't really put out content around training because most of my content is around nutrition. You put out more training content than I do.
Yep.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Crystal's way better at training content than me. Like, she knows the names of exercises more. She had this exercise plan, but that the other day I'm like, what is this exercise? What is this exercise? And she's like, you don't know what that exercise is? And I'm like, what's it look like? And she showed me. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I know what that exercise is. But it's like she knows all the names, she knows all that stuff.
I also like studied anatomy and all of that, so it makes it a lot easier to understand how the body functions in movements when you've gone to school for that.
Yeah, I just do it. So let's talk a little bit about training and increasing resistance, increasing volume, increasing all that good stuff. So from a really high level, let me plug my laptop in. It's about to die. All right. From a really, really, really high level, the goal of weight training is to provide a stimulus to the body so that the body is then forced to adapt to that stimulus. Think of it like a hormetic response. If you are, I've heard it really, I think Dorian Yates described it this way, I'm not sure. But if you have a piece of sandpaper and you rub your hand with that piece of sandpaper, if you do it, a little bit and then let your body heal, build up, it's going to build up a callus. That callus gets thicker and thicker and thicker, kind of like the calluses on my hands there. And that's good. I'm providing a little bit of a stimulus, and my body is adapting to that stimulus in the form of more tissue growth in the form of a callus. Now, building up skin tissue is a little bit different than building up muscle, but for the intents and purposes, you get the concept. Now, if I was to take that sandpaper and just constantly, barrage my skin, I'm not going to have time to build up. It's going to get worn down, and I'm going to be looking at a bone before too long instead of a callus. So you have to have proper recovery time. You have to have proper stimulus to elicit proper growth. Now, when you look at resistance training, you are eliciting that, you're trying to elicit an adaptation to that stimulus. That adaptation comes in the form of added lean muscle tissue. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it. The general consensus is progressive overload. You want to, like let's say you've never worked out in your life. You go to the gym and you do a set of 10 reps on bicep curls for 3 sets, and you do that every single week, 3 times a week for the next 3 years. You'll see some initial growth and you'll have some bicep peaks because you've never done it before, and now you're doing it all the time. But after your body's acclimated to that point at which, that weight and that repetition for that total volume is no longer challenging, you're not really giving it reason to grow further beyond that. So that's why you want to increase the overload, i.e. progressively overload. And a lot of people assume that means simply adding more weight. What example did I use for dumbbell weight? 10 pounds?
I don't remember.
Let's say it was 10 pounds. You can come in and do 15 pounds and do everything the same, but now do 15 pounds. So now you're giving your body more reason to grow. But you got to give it some form of progressive overload. It doesn't always take the form of increased weight, though. It can be increased weight. It can be increased frequency. It can be increased time under tension. It can be increased intensity. It can be increased repetitions, which would yield a more increased volume. Volume being defined as the weight times the number of reps times the number of sets. So all of these things are ways to increase that stimulus in some form or fashion. And you want to do that consistently over time to yield that desired outcome, i.e. muscle growth. But you're not always going to be able to just simply add weight. Like if I'm doing bench press and I get to where 135 is easy, and then I get to where 225 is easy, it's not like I'm going to be able to get to the point where 315 is easy, and then 405 is easier, and then 500 is easier, and 600 is easier, and 800 is easy, and then I'm lifting 1,500 pounds on bench press. Like there's going to be a point at which your weight is just simply not going to equate to consistent growth in weight on the bar. So at that point, if you can't add more weight, then add one of those other factors. Add more time under tension. Do drop sets. Do burnout sets. Do pyramid sets. Do negatives. All of those are ways to increase the intensity, which is going to increase the growth, increase the stimulus, but it's not going to come in the form of necessarily increasing the weight on the bar. So those are all some high-level pointers. Are you got anything to add?
Nope, think you did a great job.
Really? Well, thank you. Did a great job there, baby.
Stand here.
Yeah.
We have a baby is growing comment.
Keto Carnivore King, what's up, man? I don't know which profile you're more active on now.
Well, he just made a post the other day that he was back on his Keto Carnivore King.
I'll have to check it out. TC's Life. Hello, just listening as I get ready to drive in the sleet and snow. Drive safe.
Yeah, drive safely.
Crystal is amazing.
Oh,
she is amazing.
Well, thanks.
Amazing.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. You're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play.
Do different muscles groups require more or less recovery time?
Yes, I think so. Especially like legs, for instance. Legs is your biggest muscle group. If you obliterate your legs, you're probably not going to want to come in the very next day and obliterate your legs in the same form and fashion.
I'd say the same thing with back.
Yeah. And that's true to an extent on all muscle groups, but a smaller muscle like bicep, I can obliterate my biceps. And if I come in a few days, I can obliterate them again and it not be nearly as daunting as trying to do the same thing with legs or back. Mm-hmm. Something like calves, for instance. I literally train calves every single day. But you think about it, if you're walking every single day, you're constantly stretching that calf muscle, you're constantly stimulating that calf muscle, and you're going to need to really, do something out of the ordinary to elicit a stimulus that yields a growth response. So that's why I train calves every single day. That's the only thing that I've ever found that's actually caused them to grow. And everybody's going to have a different tolerance to that. Some of it's probably genetic. Some of it's based off of what resonates with each individual. For instance, somebody may respond wonderfully well to lifting really, really heavy, very few repetitions. Somebody may respond well to the exact opposite of that. Maybe that's genetic. Maybe it's personal preference. Maybe it's short muscle fiber, fast twitch muscle fiber, slow twitch muscle fiber. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's up for debate still.
The same way for muscle building. Like someone might have huge biceps, but you guys do the same exercise. You guys do the same exercises and your legs are gigantic and theirs are not. And their biceps are huge and yours are not, or whatever, because every person's body, would you get out of here? Everyone's body will respond differently to a different stimulus.
Howdy. Thanks for the email, Robert. I look forward to working with you very soon. So excited.
Kind of nervous about how much you will increase my macros, or if I gain quickly, LOL.
Yeah, we got to just be slow and control with it. That is the main thing.
Bravo. Can you grow muscle after 60?
Yes. It gets harder. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you're probably not going to have never lifted a dumbbell in your life, never been physically active, be 80 years old, go to the gym, pick up a few dumbbells, and then bam, be stepping on stage and winning world titles. It's hard to build muscle as you age. It's harder to build muscle as you age, but it's 100% totally doable, and you owe it to yourself to do it, because the more muscle you have as you age, the better quality of life you'll have as you age, because muscle is the organ of longevity, as they say.
Do you put all of your clients on keto macros? If yes, then 20 grams of
No, it says
carbs.
less than 20 grams.
Less than 20 grams, guys. We both are keto coaches, so it wouldn't make sense for us to live this lifestyle and then promote or coach using carbohydrates when that's not in our diet and we're not really familiar with a lot of the different carbohydrate things out there. But for me personally, I don't just automatically stick everyone at 20 grams. Sometimes they're at 10 grams. Sometimes they're at 15. Sometimes I'll have a new person to keto and I'll even start them off at 50. Or a breastfeeding mom or something like that. Someone who needs to do a slow transition, etc. But my goal is to always get people to 20 or lower.
Morgan McCarthy says, "Hi guys, thank you for connecting live. I have a question about the timing of meals around workouts. It seems the traditional and overarching message in the bodybuilding world is eat ASAP after training. Example, simple carbs and proteins by the time you hit the parking lot, bro. In your opinion, what is the keto approach to meal timing and what are the most beneficial nutrients around lifts? Thank you so much." All right, here we go, Morgan. I used to think that way. I used to think that if I didn't slam my protein shake within 20 minutes of working out in that anabolic window, then my gains were for naught and I was just melting away into nothing. It's not the way it works. If you're eating enough calories and enough protein, which you should be doing if your goal is to build muscle, and you're doing so within the course of a 24-hour day, then you're going to have those nutrients in there to build more tissue. Now, there is an argument to be made that having that meal within about 2 hours of training may be advantageous. So try and get some protein within about 2 hours of training. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world, I promise. So yeah, a good rule of thumb is just simply eat enough calories, enough protein, and do so. Get some of that within about 2 hours of training, and you rock solid 100% A-okay.
I'm gearing up to start my first cut since maintenance and following powerlifting program. Should I pause my current program and focus more on hypertrophy or stay consistent during the cut?
I'm gearing up. Let me read that again.
They're doing a powerlifting program and they're gearing up to do a cut.
Should I pause my current program and focus more on hypertrophy or stay consistent during the cut? I would stay consistent during the cut. A lot of people make the mistake of when they do a cut, they
go crazy.
They drastically change their training, and you don't really want to do that. You especially don't want to start lifting lighter weight. Try and lift as heavy weight throughout the cutting phase as you were during the building phase. It's going to get harder because you're getting less fuel coming in, but lifting that heavy weight is one of the best ways to ensure that your body has reason to keep that muscle tissue that you've worked so hard to build. The last thing you want to do is be in a caloric deficit, stop lifting heavy, because then your body's going to be like, you know what? We don't need all this muscle. And this muscle is pretty taxing on our metabolism. So let's just kind of sneak in there, eat some of that muscle up, be some catabolic, and not keep that muscle. You want to fight that by continuing to demand that muscle.
In programs, do y'all go over which exercises we should be doing for our desired look? I'm guessing for coaching.
Yeah, I mean, most of our focus is on nutrition. We can both certainly help. I don't want to speak for you. Most of my focus is on nutrition, but I can certainly help with training. So yeah, we can totally get you fixed up with a training program based off of what equipment you have, what you're trying to do. But there's not it's kind of funny. I see this a lot of times with women. They're like, I really want to build up my booty, y'all. I need some booty specific exercises. They say it just like that too. And you don't really need to overthink it like that. Like the basics have been tried and true and tested for time for a reason, because they work, you know? So like if you're able to do squats, if you're able to do leg press, if you're able to do hack squats, you're going to build up the booty, you know? So yeah, don't overthink that.
Has your DOMS stopped doing keto?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get nearly as sore anymore. But I think that would be the case even if I wasn't
That
doing
makes a
keto.
lot more sense. I was saying it really weird in my head. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't think I would get that sore regardless of the diet that I was following right now. Your body's ability to hedge against DOMS is a result of your body's ability to acclimate to the training load and stimulus. So regardless of the diet, you should be able to kind of bypass that after you've been training for a while. That said, the anti-inflammatory nature of a ketogenic diet most certainly helps in minimizing DOMS.
That is so interesting. I can obliterate my legs on a bike daily, but am weaker at push-ups and even pull-ups. Yeah, and also the bike is way different than this type of resistance training as well, like push-ups, pull-ups, things like that. It's going to be very different. You're using different types of muscle and like the muscle twitches on a bike versus doing like a leg press or things like that.
Lotus Blism says hi. What's up, Lotus Blism?
How's your dad, Crystal? He is doing wonderful. I mean, hills with weights, but push-ups seem like little growth.
Totally different muscle group too. I mean, you're going to be doing a lot more chest with push-ups and obviously a lot more legs with the cycling. Has the coaching suffered from the time constraints of Keto Brick?
What does that mean?
I think just like, us focusing so much on the brick business. Not really, I don't think, because we have such a great team in the kitchen making bricks. So yeah, I mean, the coaching takes up a lot of time for sure, but I love coaching. It keeps me sharp, keeps Crystal sharp. So yeah, I like the coaching. I probably will always do coaching to some extent because it just allows me to plug into the community and see, what the pulse of what people are going through is like.
If we didn't have time for one thing or the other, we would cut it out or find a way to make it work, which is why we have employees to make the bricks and, all of that. But thoughts on all the recent deaths in bodybuilding world? We were just talking about that
yesterday. It's crazy.
We were just talking about that this morning.
That was this morning?
Me and you.
That's how crazy our day's been today. But yeah, I mean, Cedric McMillan just died yesterday, I guess. And I mean, he's one in who knows how many bodybuilders. And
so many.
I don't know why that's the case. One can only speculate as to the speculations that are going on with this, but it is crazy.
They just all happen to be professional bodybuilders.
Yeah. With likely heart issues that have been amplified because of, some of the supplements they've taken. But I don't know. One can only speculate.
I did HIIT and saw great results working all muscle groups every other day. Would it be better to do more old school gym rat style? Gym rat style, that's hilarious. Little back and triceps one day, legs another, and chest and biceps.
I like gym rat style. We have always kind of gravitated towards it in some regard. I think if you're training each muscle
it's more like the bro split is what it's called.
Yeah. As long as you're training each muscle group about twice a week from a frequency standpoint, which we're not doing right now, but we generally do, then you should be good. So I would try and do that for sure. I like that a lot more than trying to do full body or something like
that. How ready are you, Crystal, to soon meet your baby? I'm very excited to meet him. I'm okay with being pregnant for a little longer. I honestly have really enjoyed this, and I'm in no rush for him to come out as soon as possible. But I'm very excited to meet him when his time is here.
What are your thoughts on mini cuts during a bulking phase?
What
are your thoughts?
I think it's a bad idea. I think if you're going to do a bulk, you need to focus on doing a bulk. I think if you're going to do a cut, then you need to focus on doing a cut. Put the time, attention, everything where it needs to be, because technically if you're doing mini cuts, you're not really bulking. So you're not getting out of your bulk what you could. And then you're probably not getting out of your cuts what you potentially could, because you've already been at a deficit at some point in your bulking time.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to have a sloppy bulk in which you're putting on a bunch of
Yeah.
unnecessary body weights.
We did just do a live on lean muscle building or lean bulking a couple weeks ago, and I think we're both big advocates for that. Not adding a ton of body fat, but a healthy amount of body fat to build, but where you still feel good in your skin.
Lotus Blossom abbreviated it for chat. Return in lives, communication. Makes sense. Lotus Blossom is much more sensible than Lotus Blism.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for responding. One more question. If you find any advantage to eating pre-workout when fat adapted or fasted lifting is fine.
I think if you're going to be working out later in the day, then I would do a meal beforehand. I just personally like having something on my system if I'm eating or if I'm training later in the day. If I'm working out at any point in the morning, I train fasted because my prior night's work meal acts as the next day's pre-workout meal.
I think the vax is to blame for athletes dying.
Well,
we are not going to get into that, but there's a lot of bodybuilders that were dying way before COVID ever happened.
That is a lot of speculation, though.
It is a speculation, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah,
we're not getting into that.
We're not getting into. I'm not going to have a stance on it. I don't know what the science is, but if you think about it, mechanistically speaking, let's think about it. If you're taking in a bunch of performance-enhancing drugs that cause your muscles to grow, of which the heart is a muscle, so that has already grown beyond what is naturally physiological feasible for most human beings, and then you introduce something that has been shown to have a adverse effect in some from a cardiac standpoint, from like inflammation or growth. Who knows? But maybe those confounding factors, I don't know. I can't say one way or another. I don't have a formal stance on that, but a lot of bodybuilders were dying beforehand. A lot of bodybuilders are dying now, but it does seem as though there's been a pretty significant uptick in bodybuilders dying now. So it is
mostly of heart conditions.
Yeah, so it is kind of concerning.
I find it odd that everyone who is dying are Black. Interesting.
I think Cedric McMillan. I'm losing all their names now. Sean Roden.
There is a lot of African American bodybuilders, but I feel like there's just as many white people.
There was
too.
one, I forget his name. I don't know. I have to go look at the list of it, but it is crazy.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting view. I haven't even looked into that.
What's your favorite protein? What's up, Keto Chef Max? We've been jamming with that steak shake protein, Mark Bell's protein.
Yeah, I just bought 2 more containers of it.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like new people worry too much about the little details and not enough about the simple big details?
Yeah, it's probably true with most things. I mean, people get into the weeds before they even have any momentum going from the big low-hanging fruit. So, once you, I could summarize the ketogenic diet in one sentence, a higher fat, moderate to optimal protein, low carbohydrate diet made of single ingredient, wholesome natural foods. Boom. That's keto, everybody. We don't need to eat. We don't need to have books. We don't need to have websites. We don't need to have articles. We don't need to have anything else. That's keto in a nutshell. But you can take that and you can go super granular with it and dive into all kinds of nuance. You can talk about digestion. You can talk about tracking ketone levels, blood glucose. I had an hour podcast before this live, and we just talked about CGMs the whole time. There's a lot that you can dive into. So don't let that detail prevent you from getting the momentum going, though. What else we got over here, baby?
Have you guys seen Dante Trudel? How do you pronounce that?
Trudels? I don't know.
New research about taking 60 milligrams of melatonin for major benefits.
I've seen some research that says no melatonin. I've seen some that says take melatonin. I don't know.
I've never in my life, I think I've taken melatonin only a couple times, but melatonin is something that naturally happens within your body. And I think if you have a need for melatonin, probably something is going on in your body. Like it's, like if you're not absorbing something or whatever. And again, I'm not a scientist, but that would be my assumption, because you shouldn't have to need or whatever a certain supplement in order to be better. If that makes sense. Unless your body doesn't absorb properly.
Kayla Young says, what electrolyte drink mix do you recommend for someone who may have GI issues? Great question. So I like Redmond Relight. It's got the right ratio of sodium to potassium. However, it is bound to a potassium citrate. That may cause some GI distress in certain individuals, in which case I recommend, actually just made a video about this. My last YouTube video that I published yesterday or Monday talks about this. But Mike Mutzel's electrolyte mix, Myoscience, has got creatine in there, and it uses, you know what it uses? I don't remember what. It's not a citrate, though. So that would be a good option. And also upgraded formulas is a pretty good option.
Mm-hmm. Eddie Cohen.
He's a power lifter. He died. He did die. I don't know what I don't know if it was heart issues, though.
What y'all cooking for dinner? Don't say y'all.
What y'all cooking for dinner?
It's just Crystal.
What you cooking for dinner, babe?
I am doing Greek chicken.
You think like I'm not doing anything while you're cooking? I'm mowing the yard. I'm changing the oil in your Tahoe. I'm doing all kinds of manly stuff.
He is showing it destroys visceral fat. Interesting. Yeah. If that is true, I feel like a lot of people would not be as fat.
Yeah. I have arthritis. I understand building muscle around the joint helps. Is it better to do more reps at lower weight or higher weights with less reps to strengthen those muscles? I like veering towards more weight. However, if you have a joint issue, you may want to do something that's less taxing on your skeletal structure. So you could do higher reps, lower weight. You could also do like blood flow restriction training. That's kind of interesting stuff. So you can look into that. But I naturally gravitate towards going heavier and more intense as opposed to lower weight and more repetition.
When Keto Chef Max asked about our favorite protein, he was talking about animal meat. He said, What is your favorite animal protein, LMAO? I just had lamb heart, tons of incredibly lean.
Clean foie de gras and pate.
Whatever.
Foie gras.
Yeah.
And tons of various dry aged Wagyu and lamb tartars too. Man, I'm gonna come to your place and eat with you, brother.
You know what's funny is I would rather have chicken.
I'm gonna have what you have, man.
I like chicken a lot. I love chicken. If I couldn't have chicken, I would cry. And I also love like a lean steak too.
I like all the stuff you just listed, man. I do.
They love Relight.
Going to KetoCon this year, you betcha. I'll be speaking. We're gonna have a booth. The booth's gonna be popping. You gonna be there? Popping, pop, lock, and dropping.
Probably not. Okay, cook that lady some dinner, man. Okay, that was a funny thing. I asked last night. I was like, "What do you guys cook for dinner when you don't feel like cooking anything?" I cannot tell you the amount of people that messaged me and were like, or left it in like the little box and said, "Just have Robert make dinner or give him a puppy dog look." I'm like, you guys don't understand Robert, do you? He doesn't give in to those types of things.
Dog look, baby.
No.
Won't give me a puppy dog look.
No, because it don't work.
Yeah. I can't believe I've been watching you guys live video now for 5 years.
Wow, that's nuts.
Cut the grass too.
Yeah.
Cracking the whip over here. Hi, folks. What's up, Coach Bronson? Peace out, homies.
See y'all in the morning. Bye, Bryson.
See you, bud.
LOL chicken, what? Tendies?
Chicken tendies.
That would be my jam.
How much growth hormone do you think Liver King takes 10 IU a day? That's another thing I can speculate on. I don't know.
We actually don't even know how much you would have to take because it's never been a part of our world.
Yeah.
So we would have no idea what someone would even need to take.
He takes a lot more than me as a natural bodybuilder. Let me tell you that right now.
Chicken nuggets. I'd be okay with chicken nuggets too. You guys are so generous, giving us all of your patience and time. Thanks, y'all.
Well, thank
You're
y'all.
sweet.
Keto Con says,
Yep.
Coach Greg, what's
Yep.
up? How is your homesteading going? It's going
Slow.
We have a lot to do,
Yeah.
but we're gonna do it all. It's all getting done just slowly.
So
More content coming out on that soon.
his parents are getting rid of some of their lambs or some of their sheep, whatever. And they offered us them, and we can't take them because we don't have any fencing up or anything done. So we could have had some sweet animals, but not yet.
Switch back to keto this week, and I'm still incline bench pressing 405 for 5.
Sweet.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. I gotta get to work. I gotta go do some more work here at the compound. I gotta go mow the grass. I gotta do all that stuff. Next week, we are going to. Crystal's gotta cook. You know what I'm saying? Next week, we're gonna try and do a joint live Q&A with the Deeper State Keto coaches, Greg and Jen. I don't know how it's gonna work because we got Facebook and YouTube over here. We got Instagram over here. They're gonna be coming. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. And we'll see how it goes. So,
they were asking if we were going to document the homesteading on a separate channel. So, the homesteading stuff will likely be on the Live Savage Instagram. But as far as the YouTube goes, it's going to be on the same YouTube. We're just going to try and organize it a little bit better.
But we are going to have a new website.
Yes,
which we're actually building out next week.
Yes, we are.
So we are making progress. Bear with us. All right, y'all. Love you. Take care. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now. Peace out. See you later, chicken grease, alligator. I messed that up.
Yep.
See you later, alligator. What's the chicken grease?
I have no idea.
All right. Catch y'all later. Love
See
you.
ya.